Item number SCP-049. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-049 is to be contained within a standard humanoid containment cell in Research Sector 02 at Site-19. SCP-049 must be sedated before any attempts to transport it. During transport, SCP-049 must be secured within a Class 3 humanoid restricting harness, including a locking collar and extension restraints, and is monitored by no fewer than 2 armed guards. While SCP-049 is generally cooperative with Foundation personnel, outbursts or sudden changes in behavior are to be met with elevated force. Under no circumstances should any personnel come into direct contact with SCP-049 during these outbursts. In the event SCP-049 becomes aggressive, the application of lavender, L-mutifidanda, has been shown to produce a calming effect on the entity. Once calmed, SCP-049 generally becomes compliant and will return to containment with little resistance. In order to facilitate ongoing containment of SCP-049, the entity is to be provided with a corpse of a recently deceased animal, typically bovine or other large mammal, once every 2 weeks for study. Corpses that become instances of SCP-049-2 are to be removed from SCP-049's containment cell and incinerated. SCP-049 is no longer permitted to interact with human subjects, and requests for human subjects are to be denied. Temporary Containment Procedure Update. See Addendum 049.3. Per Containment Committee Order 049.S19.17.1 SCP-049 is no longer permitted to interact directly with any members of the Foundation staff, nor is to be provided with any additional corpses to be used within its surgeries. This order shall persist indefinitely until such a time consists regarding an ongoing containment of SCP-049 can be reached. Description: SCP-049 is a humanoid entity roughly 1.9 meters in height, which bears the appearance of a medieval plague doctor, while SCP-049 appears to be wearing thick robes and the ceramic mask indicative to the profession. These garments instead seem to have grown out of SCP-049's body over time, and are now nearly indistinguishable from whatever form is beneath. X-rays indicate that despite this, SCP-049 does have a humanoid skeletal structure beneath its outer layer. SCP-049 is capable of speech in a variety of language, although tends to prefer English or medieval French. While SCP-049 is generally cordial and cooperative with the Foundation staff, it can become especially irritated or at times outright aggressive if it feels like the presence of what it calls the pestilence. Although the exact nature of this pestilence is currently unknown to Foundation researchers, it does seem to be an issue of immense concern to SCP-049. SCP-049 will become hostile with individuals it sees affected with the pestilence, often having to be restrained should it encounter such. If left unchecked, SCP-049 will generally attempt to kill any such individual. SCP-049 is capable of causing all biological functions within an organism to cease through direct skin contact. How this occurs is currently unknown. Autopsies of SCP-049's victims have been invariably been inconclusive. SCP-049 has expressed frustration or remorse after these killings, indicating that they have done little to kill the pestilence. They will usually seek to perform a crude surgery on the corpse using implements contained within a black doctor's bag it carries on its person at all times. While these surgeries are not always successful, they often result in creation of instances of SCP-049-2. SCP-049-2 instances are reanimated corpses that have been operated on by SCP-049. These instances do not seem to retain any of their prior memories or mental functions, and only have basic motor skill. And response mechanisms. While these instances are generally inactive, moving very little in generally ambulatory fashion, they become extremely aggressive if provoked or directed by SCP-049. SCP-049-2 instances express active biological functions, though these are vastly different from currently understood human physiology. Despite these alterations, SCP-049 often remarks that the subjects have been cured. Addendum 049-1 Discovery. SCP-049 was discovered during the investigation of an unknown series of disappearances in the town of Montauban in southern France. If I pronounce that wrong, somebody please correct me. During a raid on a local home, investigators found several instances of SCP-049-2, as well as SCP-049. While law enforcement personnel engaged the hostile SCP-049-2 instances, SCP-049 was noted as watching the engagement and taking notes in its journal. After all of the SCP-049-2 instances were dispatched, SCP-049 willingly entered Foundation custody. This is the following interview conducted by Dr. Raymond Tam during the initial investigation.
Alors, comment nous pourrions commencer une introduction?
I am unable to say this in actual French, so I'm just going to say it at the front. In French. So then, how should we begin? An introduction? For the rest, I'm going to be talking in accents I think they would be talking in. Is that French? Can't we get a translator? King's English, no need for translation. So, I can speak it well enough. Good. My name is Dr. Raymond Ham, and a doctor. A like-minded individual, no doubt. Wherein is your speciality, sir? Cryptobiology. Why? A medical man, such as myself. Been abducted by constant thugs. This place. I had wondered, as clean as it is, and with such little trace of the pestilence here. Pestilence? What do you mean? The scourge, the great dying. Come now, you know the... What is it they call it? No matter. The pestilence, yes. It abounds outside these walls, you know. So many have succumbed, and many more will continue to, until such time as a perfect cure is to be developed. Fortunately, I am very close. It is my duty in life to rid the world of it, you see. The cure to end all cures. When you say the Great Dying, are you talking about the bubonic plague? I don't know what that is. Let me see. In a matter of in a manner of speaking, you see things too simply, Doctor. Expand your horizons. Life and death, sickness and health. These are amateur terms for amateur physicians. There's only one ailment that exists in the world of men, and that is the pestilence, and nothing else. Make no mistake, they were very ill. All of them. You think you cured those people? Indeed. My cure is most effective. The things we recovered were not human. Yes. Well, it is not a perfect cure, but that will come in time. And further experimentation. I've spent a lifetime developing my methods, Dr. Ham. I will spend a lifetime more if necessary. Now, we have wasted too much time. There is work to be done. I require a laboratory of my own. One where I can continue my research unimpeded. And assistance, of course. Though, I could provide those on my own in time. I don't think our organization will be willing to... Nonsense! We're all men of silence. Put your coat and show me to my quarters, Doctor. Our work begins now. End log. Interviewer's note. While SCP-049 is capable of communicating in a very human way, there's a strange sense of unease that experiences within its presence. Make no mistake, there is something very uncanny about this entity indeed. Additionally, we've confiscated that pointed stick that SCP-049 keeps waving around. A part of this was due to standard confiscation protocols of the possessions of anomalies, in part because SCP-049 is really a menace swinging around like he does. The entity was displeased at first, but after made some concessions in providing some test subjects, which we are admittedly more for benefit of our own research, it warmed up to the idea. Addendum 049-2 Observation Log. While SCP-049, while in containment at Site-19, SCP-049 has spent a considerable amount of time studying and performing surgery on various mammalian corpses, and it has provided. SCP-049 will routinely spend several days performing surgery, and then, regardless of whether the corpse becomes an instance of SCP-049-2, spend several more days documenting its findings in thick leather journals stored within its doctor's bag. SCP-049 will often seek to share its findings with members of the Foundation's staff. The following log lists several occasions during which SCP-049 was observed operating on a mammalian corpse. Subject: Observational Entry 049.OL.1 Summary. Subject: SCP-049. Preface. A test subject, D95123, was introduced into SCP-049's containment cell. The entity expressed sincere gratitude towards all members of containment research and staff. SCP-049 Observation Notes. SCP-049 began asking D85123 several standard medical questions. It began removing tools from its bag. Shortly after finishing its preparations, SCP-049 quickly closed the distance between the two, killing the subject with a touch to its throat. Afterwards, SCP-049 made a number of considerable alterations to the basic structure of the subject's corpse, often introducing fluids from within its bag into the subject by way of hand-powered pump and copper tubing. Alright, this is going to be the end of the video for now. I'm going to be turning this into an actual video instead of just a stream. So you may show this to anyone else afterwards. Goodbye.